Hi guys, I'm Nicola McKenzie, founder and mortgage advisor at DM Mortgages. Today's video is a really brief summary to look at what a hard credit search is. So stay tuned. So guys, let's start right at the top by firstly looking at what even a credit check or credit search is. So when you apply for credit, a company is going to carry out a credit check. And the purpose of that credit check is to check that you are the sort of person that they would want to offer that particular product or service to. So when a company carries out a credit check, whether it be for a credit card, a loan, a mortgage application or a mortgage, they will carry out one of two types of credit search. They will do a soft search or what's called a hard credit search. Now in today's video, I'm explaining what a hard credit search is. There is another video about soft credit searches, so if you don't know how that works, then you should check that video out as well. But a hard credit search is where a company is carrying out an in-depth examination of your credit report and the history. So they're looking at typically things like how much credit you have outstanding, whether or not you've paid all of your creditors on time, whether you have CCJs, defaults, amongst other factors as well. Now, a hard credit search is usually carried out when you, like I say, make an application for a mortgage, a credit card, a personal loan. If we look at mortgages specifically, when you apply for a mortgage, there'll usually be two stages to your process. Initially, before you make a mortgage application, you'll usually do what's called an agreement in principle. Now, an agreement in principle, depending on the lender, that will involve either usually a hard credit search or a soft credit search, depending on the lender. Usually, if you pass that first part, the agreement in principle, once you've found a suitable property, you then make a full mortgage application. And usually at that stage, that is where most lenders would carry out a hard credit search. So like I say, a hard credit check is going to look at the financial history. The company can see your track record, how much you've borrowed in the past, any overdue payments, etc. So they'll be looking at absolutely everything. Now, a hard credit search leaves a visible footprint on your credit file, and other lenders can see that you've carried that search out. Now, if too many are performed in a short space of time, it can impact your credit score. Now, please guys, a disclaimer here, take that last sentence I said lightly, because what quite often people tend to do is take that to the extreme and think that if they do one hard credit search, all of a sudden their credit score is going to go from 999 to 500. It does not work like that. Just because a hard credit search leaves a footprint on your file, that doesn't mean it isn't sometimes still in your best interest to do one. So for example, if you're doing a mortgage agreement in principle and because you've got a particularly complicated situation, there are only a handful of lenders that might consider your circumstances. Those lenders happen to use a hard search. If you're serious about buying a property, in a situation like that, probably still sensible to do a hard credit search rather than not do one at all. So it all depends on the circumstances, how serious you are about borrowing money, and generally what your situation is as to whether doing a hard credit search makes sense. But the point here is that it's perhaps in many cases not as problematic as one might think on the outset. So as I mentioned before, doing one hard credit search, probably not the end of the world. Doing multiple credit searches that are hard in a short space of time, that's when it becomes problematic, because what that's doing is sending a signal to other companies that you may be in financial trouble, that you're relying on too much borrowing, or that you're desperate to get credit. Creditors understand that you need to get credit. So that's what I mean, putting that in context. Doing one hard credit search, not the end of the world. Doing multiple in a short space of time, that's when it usually becomes problematic. So therefore, try and keep your hard searches to a minimum. It doesn't mean you can't do any at all, but try and keep them to a minimum. Otherwise, you can look like higher risk to other companies. So I hope that explanation's been useful, guys. Now, of course, if it has, make sure that you hit that subscribe button somewhere down here and the notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos from me. Also, make sure that if you need to get a mortgage, if you're looking at properties, you want to buy a property or remortgage on a property, then head over to our website, dm.mortgage, and book in for a free video appointment today. It literally takes 2 minutes and we can help you to look at your options. And of course, click on the links to take you to other videos about related topics and to explain more about our mortgage services. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.